All right, all right. Hello, hello, everyone. I hope you're doing well. Welcome back to the Power Up You and Your Business Summit January edition. Can you believe that we're already in January? A lot of you that have been following me, you know that I hold these summits monthly, and I bring on amazing guests from my community and also from my network, which I invest a lot of time and energy in. I love building relationships. I love building community. I love bringing people together. So even today, I'm going to attempt to do the same thing. I have amazing speakers that are joining me today, and they're going to share different topics that are going to be very relatable and interesting for you in aligning your life and your business to the next level. And who doesn't need a level of inspiration and also education, right? Pair that together. Hopefully, what you take away today will be actionable steps and things that you can start applying right away. And not to mention, of course, the connections that you can be making with all the amazing speakers that are joining me today. Just to remind you that this summit is sponsored by the Life School, where our mission is to empower entrepreneurs with the right education and skills to build a legacy business on purpose. I'm your host, Alona Lapari, high-level business strategist. And again, I brought today amazing speakers that are going to not only inspire you, but create the beautiful energy that always usually happens in co-creation when you bring beautiful minds and souls together that are open-heartedly sharing their experience with one another. And I always say magic happens. I get inspired by, at the end of every summit, and I get inspired by every conversation, which is I just made it as one of the things that I build in my business to ensure that I create spaces where I can have these conversations with as many people as possible. So I will introduce my first speaker to you. She is our amazing community expert, Yannick Seide, and she helps women find their purpose. There's so much alignment with our community as well. Yannick, thank you so much for being here. And I'm looking forward to having the audience learn a little bit about you and also the topic that you want to share with us as far as how do we find that inner alignment and inner purpose, especially for women that might be looking for that.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm Yannick Seid, and my journey is the reason why my journey in life is the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing now. So I work with women that are over 40 years old and over, and to get clarity on who they are and what they have to offer, find their purpose, and to go to the next level to have the fulfilling life or career that they desire, to reach their full potential and be the women they're destined to be. So that is my purpose. This is my passion. Um, because I am in that demographic and looking back at my life, I have noticed living it myself and also my cohort and co-workers and colleagues and women that I interact with often are in at a crossroads in their lives for different reasons. Either a change in their relationship, whether it's a breakup, breakdown of a relationship, or entering a new relationship, or becoming a widow, or being an empty nester, being women, we are usually putting ourselves last and looking after our family and our children. And then in the process, forgetting who we are, we have a sense of loss of who we are. So that's what I want to do is help women overcome this and have them strive and achieve all that they can. And also, whether you're working or not, sometimes when you are in the groove and going through the motion and you're working, and that's is what has happened to me several times, and I did paradigm shift because where I was in my career was no longer aligned with me. And in order to go to the next level, I had to do some introspection and see what I had to offer. And that was beyond what was on my resume. Was a big lesson for me. Yes, what I am now is what I am now, but we grow as a person. And once I understood that, it helped me move forward and go to the next level. And this is what I want to do when I work with my clients. So, in order to do this, I have a framework, a 4-step framework that I call DIAL, DIAL. So, the first thing, D, is to discover their gifts and inner strengths. And as I mentioned before, is beyond what's on your resume. And when we go through this, there is this aha moment that I experienced myself, but my clients is that I have more to offer than I realize. And that's very empowering. And then once they identify this, they have the opportunity to see how they can apply what they discovered about themselves, whether to change their career path, to pivot, or if they're not working, just to explore, to do something they, pursue an interest that they had or forgot that they never had a chance to explore. And that is something that will bring some fulfillment that they didn't realize. So once they do, whether it's for work or your personal life, it is, as a human being, we want to be happy. We want to have a sense of fulfillment. So that's the first thing. And I is to identify the core values, because our core values, here comes the word core, is within our core, is what makes us, who we are. So if we are in an environment where this is not aligned with us, we will not be comfortable, we will be stressed, uh, will not have fulfillment, have a sense of loss of control. So that's one thing. Also, what was I going to say? And another thing we do once is to identify the limiting beliefs and learn how to overcome them by switching and shifting their mindsets. A is to take actions. Take the actions that will move the needle forward to reach the goal they have set for themselves, whether it's their personal life, relationships, or their career. So that is the next step. Take actions, identify and take those actions. And leap, if once you have identified those actions, is to leap towards where you want to go, where you have set your goals. So those are the 4 steps of the framework. So within that framework, at the beginning, there are 2 questionnaires that I use because that's the foundation to move forward. The first one is to determine and give clarity on what the goals are. We ask people, oh, what are your goals? And you say something, but is it really your goal? So it's an extensive question, and that delves into that and gives them clarity, and not just what the goals are, but there is a time spent. It's visioning where they will be a year from now. So after we've done the questionnaire, the next session, with the answer they provide, I write their life script that I read to them, listening to meditating, relaxation music. I repeat the script 4 times as they listen with their eyes closed so that it's infusing them and, going to their mind, we are what we think. And those are their words. Then they will be getting the written script because they don't see the script until I've left the right script to them first. And I ask them to record it using the first person and to listen to it twice a day, in the morning and in the evening. This is part of what we do to work on reframing mindsets. The second, and not only that, to create positive affirmation that they will repeat, because the more you say, the more you think, you become what you think. So this is the purpose of the exercise. And in the process, removing the limiting beliefs, because with the positive affirmation, that's what you think. You don't think about what you cannot do. It's like, I am strong, I'm courageous, I am vibrant, I can do anything. It's I. Very, very powerful. And when they do it, it's very rewarding to see how the body language just changes. As they say it, they hear themselves say it. So that is the first tool. The next tool is another extensive questionnaire, and sometimes they become quite emotional because they think I'm repeating the question. Yes, I am repeating the question from the last question answer, and it delves so deep that sometimes emotions come out. But it's a good thing, it emerges, things about themselves in their core they were not aware of emerges, and it's like a revelation. And every time it happens, it's just, I find I touch my heart, because once they are aware of that, they understand their why. There's no turning back. So you have your goal, and with the exercise, your goal, your aspirations, but why do you want to reach that goal? That's very important, because that is what fuels the motivation to move forward and attain that ultimate goal that they identify, because that's where they want to be. But if you don't know why, it's very easy to get distracted, not do it, feel discouraged. And then, we're human beings. We all have moments where we have self doubts. But this is what I refer them to. When you feel that way, go back to your why. Remember what your why is. And it's instant. They see it, they remember it because they write it down as well. And there's reframing and regroup and move forward. So that's another tool for them. Very powerful, but those are two things that need to be done in order to move forward. And also, we work beside the mindset and limiting beliefs, it's also working on healthy boundaries. Because if we do not have healthy boundaries, whether it's at work or at home with your friends or your family, in your personal life, it gives you a sense of loss of powers, loss of control, frustration, and depression, because you are not taking care of yourself. You are at the mercy of whatever is thrown at you. But if you have healthy boundaries and honor them, this will be very powerful. You will also be a level headed person, meaning you will not be scattered at the whim of everybody else's needs. And more importantly, having healthy boundaries is part of your wellness. It's part of self care. As I say, you need to look after number one first for anything else to work. Number one is you. So having healthy boundaries is very important. And what want people to understand is that it's not because you're tough or you're mean. Having healthy boundaries also, we teach people how to treat us. So if you have healthy boundaries, and you can do it either by articulating it clearly, nicely, respectfully, and most time people will accept it. But if they don't right away, that's okay. It's on them, but you have established your boundaries. And I just have a quick little story I want to tell you. And I was not aware of that till afterwards, but you can have boundaries that you articulate, but you could have silent one. So when I was working in corporate, I had an office with a door. So I left it open, if there was not too much work, movement outside, noise, I would leave it open. But if I needed to concentrate a bit, a bit more, I would kind of leave it half open. So people knew that they could pick your head and say, hi, Yannick, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Then I would leave it just a little open. Well, people would not just do that, they would knock at the door. But if my door was shut, just don't do this. Don't go near her. Don't knock. Just she's not available. I didn't realize this is what my language, my door meant until one day I was busy and I saw this piece of paper kind of go woo, from under the door and landed further in my office. So I finished pick what I was doing and I looked, it was my director who said, Yannick, when you have a moment, could you come and see me? I went, wow, the big boss didn't even knock at the door. She understood that I could not be disturbed. That's when I realized that, the body language of my door were my boundaries. They were gentle, but respected. So this is how important boundaries are. So I just wanted to share this
Yeah.
um, anecdote with you. Anyway, so that is what I do. And see the transformation of the person once we resolve and work on all of what I've mentioned, go into the dial framework. I see the person transform. It's a metamorphosis that surprised me, but I expected that. But to see when the client is aware of what has happened to them, that is what brings me joy, and that's my purpose, and that's the impact I want to do. So
Mm. Beautiful, Yannick. I mean, you hit the nail on the head with so many things that you said, and I love your practical framework because it's so easy for people to kind of see themselves within that and to kind of identify, if they're looking for someone to guide them through that. And I always think that that's why we need mentors because we always need someone else to hold the space for us. We just don't see our own blind spots. And I love we said with boundaries, there's silent ones and there's also intentional ones that we set out. And sometimes we don't know what those silent ones are. So we have to really, do that inner work. It's just like subconscious, like we always talk about mindset. We intentionally might know what blocks us, but we don't always know what blocks us from our subconscious. I think it's the same thing in boundary setting. And it's such a big thing for a lot of people. And I know I'm always reevaluating that myself while we want to honor ourselves but we also want to honor other people, and the only way that this can happen is if we know what are those boundaries that we have and are healthy, that we're serving ourselves first. And it might sound egoistic. I have to do a lot of work on that. It's like, oh, that's very selfish, that you always worry about yourself, but I honestly think that's the only other way to be in service and full with other people, because we know so many people that go about it the other way. So thank you so much for everything you shared. Definitely stick around. I definitely would love to ask you a question of your journey at the end as well. But definitely very very valuable information, and I hope the audience also just took away some things that they can really do and really resonate with in the moment. Thank you so much.
thank you for having me.
It's an absolute pleasure, Yannick. Awesome. So my second speaker is Tina Kadish. I hope I'm not butchering your name or the last name, Tina. I have a talent for that. And Tina is one of our other community experts. She helps people grow their businesses, but I'm not going to dive into more of that because I'm sure she will share a little bit about her background and also the topic that she feels will add value to our beautiful entrepreneurs listening today. Welcome, Tina.
Thank you so much, Ilona. Yes, my name is Tina Kadish. I just wanted to share that. It's okay. You'd be surprised what I get. It's so great to be here. I am a business coach and author of 2 books and speaker that I love to be in this community and to be in other communities. So similar to Yannick, I was in the corporate world and I also help women or started my business. I'll give you my background. I was laid off from the corporate world. I was in training and development. I was working for a Fortune 500 company in New York City. I'm in Connecticut. And when I got laid off is when was the first time that I really had a lot of uncertainty. I had fear. I really was scared. I was a single mom with 2 kids and I didn't know what direction I was going to take with my career. So through networking and meeting amazing people, I came across a tool that helps women um, identify their passions. So I started my business with that tool of helping women to identify their passion, because what I learned when I got laid off is that I was at the mercy of a company, and I did not want to be at the mercy of a company ever again. I wanted to be in the driver's seat. And I was always the person that would leave the companies for other opportunities, but I was never let go, laid off. And so that really took me for a loop. And so in my marketing researching that I did, I learned that over 85% of individuals are unhappy, they're unfulfilled. So in their careers, and they have no direction. So I started with that. However, through the years, I've evolved to a business coach, and I'll share a little bit how I got there. But freedom is what stood out for me when I was on my journey of figuring out. I knew I wanted to be free. I knew I wanted flexibility. I just didn't know how to do that. And so I became a business coach because today I am an entrepreneur. I help women that want to leave the 9 to 5 and they want to start a successful business. And a lot of what you said, Yannick, with the mindset, the limiting beliefs. I wrote my first book, Freedom, the 7 Steps to Thrive in Life and Business, because that word freedom kept coming up. And being a speaker that I want to be out there more, I was tasked with to write a book, because writing a book will create more credibility, will open the door to speaking. And so I never thought I'd be an author. And so I created this framework of 7 steps, and it's really doing the inner work, because we want to start a business, and we don't know what to do, how to do it, but a lot of it keeps us stuck from starting a business. We have the inner work, a lot of what you mentioned about limiting beliefs and our mindset. And so I want to go through the 7 steps that I created that goes along with doing this inner work that leads into, okay, I want to start a business, but there's things that stop us. So the first one is faith. It's the foundation of our lives. Faith, and this is not about religion or anything like that. It's really whatever you believe in. I believe in God. I'm a believer. And it's believing that something will happen. So when I was laid off, I said to my manager at that time, I said, a door just closed. However, I know that another door is going to open. I just don't know what that door is going to be. So I believed in myself. So it's having that faith in you and the hope of seeing things that are not seen. Okay. Because, I've been a control freak. I attach myself to an outcome, and I want to always know that there's going to be something out there. Well, I've had to learn to surrender. I've had to learn to trust the process, be patient with myself, and know that I have value, that sometimes things don't happen on our own time. They happen on another time, that it's not on our time, on our time. So I started my journey, and I started my business. So faith is the first step, is that belief in a higher power. The second step in achieving freedom is release. And what I mean here is letting go. I mentioned a few minutes ago, letting go, like not being attached to the outcome. When I was, on my path to discover my passions, one of the things that I was told by my mentor was letting go. Believe that something is going to happen. Don't worry about the how. Know that it's going to happen. So having that releasing, letting go, I had to let go that I was laid off. I was angry. I was frustrated. I had just been promoted to area trainer, and then they let me go. And that was not sitting too well. So I had a lot of fear. And I talk about that in my book, is fear, because fear is huge. It keeps us really staying stuck in our life and business. Okay. And so we can control what we do. Okay. We can't control circumstances. We can control our attitude. We can control our actions. Like, you mentioned that, Yannick, our actions. Take action. Okay. Every day, even if it's something small. So release was the second step. The third step is evaluation. Okay. And you talked about this a little bit alone, evaluating. It's really as we're growing our business, as we're growing in life, evaluate where are you? What is working well? What is not working well? What needs to change? In 2022, I rebranded my business. My former name was Life is Ideal. I rebranded to now my business is called From Job to Joy. And I worked, with a branding person, and I really got more aligned with who I help. And so that was something that as I'm going through my journey, and we're always evolving, we're always growing, we're always pivoting. COVID-19 really helped a lot of us to pivot, to make changes. A lot of us may have been in business where we're only doing in person, and we've had to pivot to online presence. So evaluate what's working, what's not working well. Okay. The next step is energy. Energy. Everything is energy. Money is energy. We have physical, emotional, spiritual, emotional, everything is energy. And when we think of energy, it's where are we putting our attention every day? What are you focusing on? Are you putting your energy on the positive, or are you putting your energy on the negative? So be aware of what you focus on expands. Okay. And so that's huge for me because I grew up with scarcity thinking. My energy was always going to the negative, the fear, instead of focusing on good things, positive. Every day may not be a good day, okay, but celebrate your wins. Every day I say this always, even if it's something small. So where's your energy going today? Be aware of it. I'm a firm believer in journaling, writing things down, getting things on paper, not keeping them here. Okay? The D is determination. You see, when I was laid off, I was determined that I was going to start a business. I didn't know how, but I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. And then along the way, I did go back to a job because of fear as a talent acquisition specialist until 2018 that I was working my business part time because you can build a business, and I was working full time. I never encourage my clients to quit a job and start a business tomorrow. It's a process. We need a plan. You need a foundation. You need structure. You need systems and processes. So determination was that I knew I was going to achieve success. And in 2018, as a recruiter, I didn't like the job, but I stayed because of fear. I was comfortable making good money. How many of us can relate to that? We stay where we are because it's comfortable. We stay complacent until I got fired. So in 2018, I'm happy to say I was fired because I voiced my opinion about a policy. And after 11 years in a company, one of their top recruiters, I even got a package, and it was amazing. God pushed me out because if I didn't get pushed out, who knows if I would have still been there. But then I'm so grateful that I was, because in 2019, my daughter was diagnosed with cancer. She passed away in 2020, and I was able to be with her as an entrepreneur building my business while navigating a difficult time, because in our life, we always have challenges, losing a job, losing a marriage, and then losing my daughter. Three losses that I've had in my life. And I continue to be determined, okay, which leads to the next step is optimism. Now, optimism, okay, remaining optimistic when there's changes going on, when there's things in our life that are not good. When I was going through with my daughter, was that good? No, no. But my faith is what got me through it. My strength, my mental strength is what got me through that most difficult challenge in my entire life. Nothing will supersede that. Okay. And so that is the optimism that I had, that I knew that I was going to get through one of the most difficult times in my life and continue to grow my business and to share my story, which my second book came from that experience. It's all about grief. And so the last step in freedom is M, mindset. Okay, we touched on this. Mindset is really what is your mindset when you're going through life? Okay, there's two types of mindset. We have a fixed mindset and we have a growth mindset, and I talk about that in my book. I'm always looking for solutions. No matter what, I'm going towards a solution. Even when my daughter was diagnosed and was dying, I was finding options. I was looking for options. I was looking for solutions because I'm a fighter. I don't quit. Okay. One of my favorite quotes is quitters never win and winners never quit. And it's something that I always talk about. And things in our life happen for a reason. We all have a purpose in our lives to achieve. And so my book, it covers the 7 steps. I did create a course, Success Incubator, from that book where I dive deep into the 7 steps with videos and a workbook. And the goal, the transformation is that all of us can thrive. We can have success, but we have to do the inner work because otherwise it won't happen. So that's a
Mm.
little bit about me.
Tina, that was so powerful because not only is freedom one of the most important values, especially for us entrepreneurs, but through the story that you shared and your framework in the book, you also, I think the hardest part looking back in my personal journey as an entrepreneur was that very beginning. When you want to do something new, there's so much uncertainty, there's so much doubt, there's so much, you don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. There's so much fear
Yes.
that, I mean, that's where you need a mentor. That's where you need someone that's on the other side and be like, here we go. I've been there, done that. I will help you. So you walk alongside with them. I
Hmm.
find that that is the one of the most hardest transitionary periods of this journey. And that's where I also personally thought about quitting. I love the quote you said that winners never quit every day. But I'm glad that I was determined based on your framework to make this work, right? Because the why, just like Yannick said, was huge. It was big. It was beyond me, right? I heard it somewhere. If your why doesn't make you cry, get in your why. Because if you don't have a powerful why beyond you, this is just gonna have this journey is just gonna have a lot of roller coasters and up and downs, but it's supposed to be that way. Why are we asking for easy? And I love how you, through the story of, I think the hardest losses in life, the hardest loss in life is the loss of a child. So the fact that you've had to overcome that and you live with that every day, and the way you are portraying that in your brand and business is beautiful because there's so many other people that are going through that. So we should never shy away from sharing our experience. And I think what you kind of recap there with your framework is beautiful because there's a reason why it happened to us, even though we don't want challenges. No one actively intentionally wakes up in the morning but like, today I want a challenge in my journey. But that challenge can turn into a gift if you know how to turn it on the other end and kind of help other people share your story through inspiring others that might be going through something similar. So not only you do amazing work in that very critical point of that transition, because Yannick can relate, I can relate, we all stick to security and safety. And I also, now looking back, I'm like, I stuck at my job. I stayed there too long. And I also had a similar experience to you. Well, you said that you were laid off, but I said, if someone could just terminate me, it'd be so much easier because then I don't have to make this decision.
No,
I
and I
stayed
did.
so long. And
I
I
got
could have,
fired. It was great.
exactly. I could have made, further along progress, let's just say, right? But again, it is what it is. We learn from our experience. And now every time that fear calls on us is just a way that we need to hold on to it and grasp it and just move forward because it's there for a reason. We feel it for a reason. Intuition never lies. So I think you had that in there in your framework as well. Really, really
Thank,
powerful stuff. I got goosebumps. So thank you so much for everything you
thank,
shared.
thank you.
Beautiful. Awesome. And now I'm calling to the stage my last speaker, Isaac Cacone. Isaac, I hope I also said your last name correctly. And Isaac is also another powerhouse. So I can't wait to have him share a little bit of his background and also the topic that he wants to share with us. Welcome, Isaac.
Thank you very much. You said my name properly. It's okay. Thumbs up. My name is Isaac. Today, we're going to speak about, I guess, values. That's what we've all been speaking about till now. Tina, Yannick have been speaking about virtues, values. And it's crazy to see, but even from the hardest of things in life, for example, God forbid losing a child, throughout Tina's virtues, we can see that it's not painful, but it helps her process life. And that's a concept of values. In 2019, I was working in support. I was working for a branding marketing company, regular guy. But in 2019, excuse me, that's when everything changed. I was hit by a car. I was driving a motorcycle. And with my luck, my left arm, one side hit the floor, on impact exploded, tearing 95% of my arm off. And with, of course, even some more luck, it tore, whoever knows the nervous system, it tore my C5, 6, 7, a small nerve C8, and my T1. And this is the main nerves connecting from your neck, again, the spine from the neck, all the way down my left arm, impact on the chest and the upper part of my back. All of this was damaged, not only damaged, it left me paralyzed and with chronic pain, but not regular chronic pain. It left me with a severe case of phantom pain and neuropathic pain, nerve damage. Now, my pain is not something that comes and goes. The way I filter my thoughts today, the way I express myself, which, by the way, most chronic patients will say they have a very hard time expressing how they feel, and they get what is called brain fog. But the way I express what I go through is I'm physically going through my motorcycle accident 24/7 for the last 3+ years. Whoever knows a bit of the world of chronic pain knows that 40% of chronic patients go through multiple suicide attempts. That's not one time of losing complete purpose to life. That's multiple times trying to recover, trying to take accountability, trying to say it's going to be okay, trying to accept. We have to accept the reality that we're in. But the truth is, it's not an acceptance. Sometimes you might have to live with it, and to live with it and not think that you're capable to overcome is the expectation. You're putting boundaries, you're holding yourself back. So I tell people, don't accept. It's very wrong, especially when you're trying to heal physically and mentally, but rather learn to process. What are you going through? Not only do 40% of us try to end our lives, but they say that 80% lose over 10 years to their lives on dependency. If it's not opioids, antidepressants, nerve stimulators, we are addicted to drugs and we lose out on 10 years of our lives. So some people are parents like me, and we don't actually get to be parents. And imagine waking up 10 years later still in pain, but you also missed out on fatherhood. And I grew up without a father. And we see the studies today. Kids from broken homes are the kids who are hurt, are the ones that fall to addictions, are usually the ones that are victimized and also have tendency to fall to chronic pain. Today we realize that it's 1 in 5 carries chronic pain. I went through all of these statistics. If it wasn't becoming a junkie, to morphine, every opioid in the book, if it wasn't trying to end my life, all of these steps I had touched. And one day I'm sitting there and I was lucky enough to become aware. What do I mean by that? Is I was hospitalized and I got on these drugs and I'm sitting in my bed and I asked myself, Isaac, are you aware of what's going on in your life? What do you want with your life? I start asking these questions that we should ask ourselves. And I couldn't tell you what I did want. And again, most people without pain, without going through problems, ask them, what do you want? They don't really know what they want. So where do we start? Well, we start with, what do you not want with your life? Well, I have a wife, I have kids, but they have no husband, they have no father. I'm trying to end my life. I'm very depressed. I feel like I'm the victim in everything. I'm having a very hard time taking accountability. I'm constantly doctor shopping. Okay, what are you going to do about it? That accountability, that jumping into doing something. And that was the changing part for me. So I started looking at things that, well, if I'm so sad, what's the opposite of sad? Well, it's being happy. What is happiness? It's an emotion you create. How do you, Isaac, create that emotion? Well, I realized that the truth is, every time I could look into my past, the happiest moments is when I was able to overcome or to do something moral in the world. And it was even stronger when I was doing it for someone else, not for myself. So I said, okay, Isaac, you're going to start giving to people. You're going to be empathetic. Why? Because you can't give financially, you can't give physically. But to smile, to be willing to listen, to care for no reason, well, that's a huge step. Throughout this journey, I started thinking, what are you talking about? What is everyone talking about? And that was it. It was your virtues, your values. And why is it so important to have values? Because when life hits you, and don't get me wrong, life is going to hit you. You need to have something to latch onto. See, if you don't know what you value in life, and Winston Churchill said it, we spoke about this. He said, everyone knows the value to everything, but the price to everything, but the value to nothing. That means I know that my watch, a Rolex is 10 grand, but I can't tell you the concept of time, the importance of time. That means we have to start weighing our virtues, what we believe in, and your character will show you what you like. So you have to learn to create your own personal virtues. It's crazy, but I started with recovery. And today, when I say mentally or physically you're trying to recover, I personally start with 3 virtues. The first one is self-nullification. Most of the time, no matter what field you're trying to get into, physically, mentally, spiritually, financially, all these 4 realms take a huge self-sacrifice on you. It's a destruction of your urges, your persona, your wants. I want to go out. No, you got to go work. Everyone's clubbing. You're going to school. Everyone's doing something, but you're willing to self-sacrifice for tomorrow's growth. So I started with self-sacrifice because I'm the one who has become sick. So if I'm sick, I need to cancel this sick and allow place for change. This new Isaac that I want to create needs place, and you could only think one thought at a time. So if I keep thinking about the victim, I'm not able to create the hero. So I had to nullify what I had become throughout the years. The second one I did was making the difference. Now, this is not only for us. We have to learn to make the difference between our problems and us. Yes, I'm disabled. Yes, I have neuropathic pain. Yes, I'm a junkie. But is that really who Isaac is? And then if I look at my virtues, okay, well, I have faith, I have self-sacrifice, I have awareness, I have empathy, I have leadership, fatherhood. That's Isaac. Okay, so work on them. But only once you know the difference and you're able to listen to yourself as a person and you make that difference, then you're able to move forward. And it's crazy, but to find peace within this world, also with people, we have to stop making the person the problem. We tend to do that with relationships, with children, we turn the problem that the person is doing as if it is connected to the person, as if it's the root to the person. But guys, maybe he's being immoral. And because he's acting immoral, it gives me the right to be moral. If someone steals, that gives me the right to steal, to not steal, which means I learned the concept. I have to thank him for being different. It's the different ones who make me who I am. It's separating problems from people. It's learning to really appreciate and love everything. And the third one, I guess, was positivity. Tina said it beforehand. Positivity, man, it goes a long way. And that is because our brains are plasticity. And you're able to literally train yourself. Now, at the beginning, we ask ourselves, why is everyone so afraid of change? Why is it so hard? Why do people not leave their jobs? Well, because it's the unknown. I don't know what is going to happen if I leave my job. And of course, that's scary because imagine a highway. The highway is your job. It became problematic. Now you have to take an off-road. But if I take the off-road, I don't actually know the road. So I'm afraid. But what happens if me and all of you start walking on that off-road all day, all night? What happens is that it becomes clear. The path becomes clear. And what happens to the highway? Well, vegetation starts growing, trees, branches. The clear becomes not as clear as it used to be. So you learn to change your thought by taking that experience that you don't know. And again, it's our experiences that give us the full potential of understanding. You see, the only way you can actually understand what parenting means is by becoming a parent. You could know the concept, you can have virtues to what you're going to do as a parent, but until you're not a parent, you don't know what it means to be a parent. So to go through your experiences, hence the reason why you know what you know. And it's crazy, but those were my 3 steps. It was literally self-nullification, cancel your persona. It was making the difference with my problems. And from there, I decided to live a positive life. And when I looked at the business world, let's all leave people that are going into business. They're changing their workers. They're having a hard time finding workers. Their numbers are the same. Guys, If that's the reality, here are 3 virtues I keep as a public speaker in any domain that I'm doing business today. I look at it in this way. 1, are you sacrificing, Isaac? Are you letting go of things that you know you need to let go at the moment for your personal growth in the future? That is 1. The second one, I look at leadership skills. There are 2 types of leadership skills that we should all know. One is technical, like your doctor telling you to take your medication. And the second one is called adaptive leadership. Moses did it best. He was trying to teach the Jewish people before getting into the chosen land, into Israel. He starts arguing with them. Why is the biggest leader of all time arguing? Well, till now, he was using technical. I say you do. But now he's about to go into the land and he can't take care of them. Guys, you're walking in on your own. From here, you all need to learn to adapt. And that's adaptive leadership. Teach your people, teach your clients to adapt, teach them to be part of something. And from there, you'll grow phenomenally. And the last one is empathy. And why? Well, back in the 90s, we used to say, the client is always right. Why? Not because he's really right, but I need to give him the chance to say what he wants to say so that he feels heard, so now he can actually listen to you. So if I'm going to allow you that place of empathy, I'm willing to listen for no reason, no matter what we say and do, whatever I'm trying to guide you to, you'll probably have a deeper connection to me than any other business you're doing. Why? Because I just care. Empathy is the concept of service. If you learn empathy to its cores, then you can actually inflict it as a service to others.
Wow, Isaac, virtual clap.
Thank you guys very much.
At a stage, if this was live, you inspire me every time you speak. There's something about you, and you just made me think. And I don't know if everybody had the same experience, but there's so many things I could have grabbed from what you said. But adaptive leadership is one that I think relates to us as entrepreneurs. Be adaptable, adapt. Adaptability is one of the most important skills in this journey, because we're not always going to get the things we want, and through our challenges we will always come out on the other side stronger, and that's how we build resilience. And especially if we really have a lot of clarity on our values, what we stand for, why we do what we do, and all of that, we're rock solid. No matter how much adaptability we have to do, the base, that core that Yannick said, is rock solid, and that will always be that certainty and security that sometimes we don't always find in this journey, because there's so much movement and so much uncertainty. But we can always rest assured that our core is strong and solid, and we always can come back to that and rely on that. So yeah, beautiful. Everything, all of you were so beautiful. I mean, from each one of you, I always usually listen to these summits afterwards too, in quiet moment and reflection, because there's always takeaways that you can grab, and you kind of just relate to you where you are in your journey, and you can expand that awareness. I don't think as entrepreneurs we speak a lot about awareness. I almost was going to call my book Purpose-Driven Entrepreneurship, Conscious Entrepreneurship, because I really do feel that our level of awareness in this journey does really make us more purposeful entrepreneurs, so that we can make a bigger impact and stay in line with our authenticity and all of that. But yeah, if I hope that it raised that awareness based on everybody is in their life and business stage today. As a final wrap up for all my speakers, I would love to ask everybody a final message from your school of life, because we all know that life is the best school, right? Our experience teaches us the best out of everything, right? Is the best teacher, just like Isaac said, right? If you're not a parent, then you just know the concept and in theory what that means, but it's a whole different thing to experience it and to know what it actually means. So life experience always teaches us so many valuable lessons. And we learn more from our setbacks than our successes, even though that's mostly what we always want. So looking at everything as a beautiful human experience definitely adds so much value to our own lives, but we can make an impact in other people's lives as well. So one final message from your school of life, and also where is it that people can find you? I mean, all of you are so amazing. Where is it that people can connect with you further? So Yannick, you can go first.
Hi. So what I'd like to leave you with is not be afraid to take that step, Because if you are staying where you are, repeating the same thing, you will not get different results. Taking the next step might be scary, but what's on the other side? If it doesn't work, you're still getting something from it because will have learned something and move forward. But remaining where you are will not yield different results. So take that step. And where to find me? You can find me on Facebook under Yannick Sein, and I will put my link in the comments. Also on LinkedIn, and also on my website, Chrysalis Women Empowerment. And yeah, so hope to hear from you. Touch base. Thank you.
Definitely connect, and all of you speakers need to connect with one another. I think that's um, one major value out of being part of anything, right? Connecting with one another, and then everybody else that's gonna feel inspired by listening to the summit in all our platforms. And sharing is caring. Just share the love. I always say, share the love. You never know who needs to hear it. Just like with content, I always say it. You never know who's silently watching in the audience, right? We don't always get the I guess the as like we want the impact. We don't always hear the impact of our work, but you just never know who is listening to what you had to say, and you never know how you impacted people. It's crazy how people share stories all the time, clients, people that are in our space in co-creation, and they share something about us, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that's actually how I affected you. And that's really what it's always about. So always keep showing up and staying visible for the purpose, mission, vision, all of that, and for the impact. Beautiful. Tina.
Yes. So my message is to continue sharing our stories, because you just don't know who is going to help. Okay, who is going to inspire, heal, and just listening to your story, Isaac, amazing, and Yannick. So share your story, believe in yourself, keep on going. Don't ever
Thank you.
quit. Don't ever quit.
Thank you
And
so
I'm
much.
on Facebook, Tina Kadis. I have my website is fromjobtojoy.com. I'm on LinkedIn as well, and would love to connect. And of course, I'm in this community with Ilona, so let's connect. Thank you so much for giving us the opportunity.
Absolutely. Awesome. Isaac.
Well, I'm going to, first of all, Tina, thank you very much. There are two things I just want to tell Tina. I wanted to go ahead and finish off the note with communication, because only once we feel heard, then we're able to move forward. But you took me that one. And beforehand as well, you said start with faith, and I'm someone of faith. My personal first virtue in life is faith, and then it's self-awareness. By the way, that's also Ilona. That's the first two steps in general. But what I'm going to leave us with is the concept of freedom of choice. Remember that you are in charge of choice. Now, what is choice? Because we're very limited in the concept of choice, but freedom of choice stands within the moral realm of life. It's either you're moral, immoral. Either I'm going to eat the sugar even though my doctor said no, or I'm going to stay true to myself. So learn where you actually have the concept of freedom of choice. And again, never fall to the idea of victimization, because a victim does not believe he has choice. What do I mean by that? If I get upset because he hurt me, or I'm mad or had expectations towards my boss to go ahead and, he's supposed to up me. Why did the new guy get the new job and I wanted this job for 5 years? If you have these expectations and victimization, then it's the external world that dictates how you feel. You have zero control of emotions and morality anymore. So the second someone starts talking about victimization, I was pained, I was hurt, I was this, ask him, what about choice? And whoever feels like he has too much expectations or pain, ask yourself, are you choosing in life? Are you morally actually making those choices? And to whoever suffering, well, of course, mentally, physically, spiritually, financially, I wish you all a lot of peace.
Beautiful. Amazing. Isaac, where is it that people can find you?
I forgot about that one, but hey, you can find me through my website. There's my email there, but my email, LinkedIn, and Instagram. But my website is recoverythroughvalues.com. It's that simple. LinkedIn is Isaac Acone. Instagram is Isaac ISAACK 3.0 at gmail.com. So you can find me on all these platforms.
Love that. That's how I know you love what you do when you're in service, because when you forget about the technical, as we talked about, like, hey, we know
I
where
never,
to
it's funny you
go.
say that. Someone asked me, don't you want to put, well, I did a talk the other day. I live in Cyprus. They asked me, don't you want to, like, at the end, just leave your thing? I'm like, yeah, you do that. And we completely forgot. He came back to me. He's like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, I never noticed. To me, it wasn't, I finished what I had to say and I was gone, I guess. Thank you.
Absolutely. And that's how you know you're in it for the right reason, honestly, because that really shows. And the people that get inspired because they feel that energy, they will hunt you down and find you and stalk you
Thank
and
you.
find you somewhere on social media. So I think it's really, really powerful. Well, there you have it. We're at the end of this beautiful summit. I want to thank all my amazing speakers for everything they shared with us today. So much inspiration, so much education. And I really feel and I really hope that you also are going to walk away with the same aha moments that I walk away from each time. And honestly, this is why I do what I do. I want more entrepreneurs, more purpose-driven entrepreneurs to shine their light in the world, to make more impact, to make more income, because we know good people with the type of influence, positive influence, and also the type of income can really do magic and do more good in the world through causes and things like that. So that is what inspires me, and I get inspired by my amazing community every day. And that's the reason why I also packaged my framework, and I love a good framework because that's easier for people to navigate through everything that they're going through. So to build a legacy business, leave a legacy behind, and make the impact, we always need that mindset, branding, marketing, sales, systems, and team, all those components that we all need as entrepreneurs to make the impact that we want to make. And that is going to be in purpose-driven entrepreneurship. As a few of you mentioned, my book, available on Amazon. And that is, I always say, get the knowledge, get the education, get the fundamentals. And once you already have that experience, just like we talked about today, you can pivot if you have to, you can adapt if you have to in your journey, change lanes, change the people you serve and all of that. But the knowledge and the skills that you already know, once they're with you, they always will stay with you, and then you can just make the impact in a different channel, in a different way, right? So it doesn't matter, the world is your oyster, but getting the education and the skills is what my mission is, with helping entrepreneurs shine their light in the world. So thank you again, and I will see you in an upcoming summit in February. If you'd like to become a speaker, definitely let me know, and we would love to introduce you to our community and have your amazing wisdom be shared with our audience of entrepreneurs. Thank you so much, and have a good rest of your day. Bye, everybody.
Bye.